Once we choose to do our savings, and we have backed our savings with a specific goal, it is very important to note that money loses value due to an element that we call inflation. For that reason, we must take a decisive action in order to protect or cushion our saved amounts against that loss of value due to inflation in order for us to be able to achieve our target objective. Then what do we do? The only solution for that is to put our saved amounts into an opportunity that not only protects our money from actual loss, but also safeguards it against that loss of value due to inflation by generating an income from that vehicle, or rather, that is what we'll be calling an investment. The safest way to protect our value by assuming the least amount of risk is by putting our saved amounts into the bond market. What is a bond? A bond technically is referred to as a paper, but this is an agreement, or a bond is an instrument, a financial instrument that is used by the government to borrow from institutions or individuals, and that described the domestic market. So these are instruments. The bond will be a financial instrument that the government will use through its agencies, that the Treasury and the Central Bank, in order to be able to borrow from the domestic market or the external market. But we shall have to narrow down to the domestic market. Important to note is that the question of investing is also an element of preparedness, because the floating of these bonds, or in this market, there is a specific period, the specific number of days that are given in order for the lenders or purchasers of these bonds to be able to purchase or place their bids, after which you may not be able to purchase that bond. What do you mean? You must be prepared in order to take advantage of the bond market. And preparation equals to having what is required in order to be able to participate in the bidding. The most important item to have in order to take advantage of the bond market is to have a unique CDS account with the central bank. And not forgetting, you also need to be able to quickly gather the required amount for the investment, or have the investment amount. Today, we are looking on how, or the procedure that you need to follow in order to open a CDS account with the central bank. There are two ways. You can open your CDS account by physically visiting the Central Bank of Kenya, or using an online channel, that is the DAO CSD platform. For this one, we will narrow down to creating our relationship with the CBK by creating or opening our account by physically delivering or collecting our documents from the CBK. The procedure will involve you physically visiting the CBK or any of their branches to collect an application form. This form can also be downloaded from the CBK website. Technically, in the market, this document, the application form, we refer to it as a mandate form. There are specific instructions that are given on that document which you must read and understand with regard to filling that document. And there are two main requirements. Number one is that you must fill that document in capital letters. And the second requirement is that you are not supposed to deface or don't deface that document. So for that, you can collect or download 2 or 3 documents or forms so that when you make an error in one, you can fill the second one. Once you have filled all the required areas, you are supposed to deliver that form to your local bank, commercial bank. It is that bank that confirms to CBK that the details of the account that you have given are correct and they belong to you. Remember, the commercial banks are the ones that will check for your details. They already have your details with them, and the commercial banks have a relationship with the central bank. So there are 2 officers from the commercial bank are supposed to append their signatures to confirm that the details that you have given with regard to your account are correct. Once that has been done, you are supposed to deliver that mandate form back to CBK in the company of other documents. Number one, you require a certified copy of your ID and a certified colored passport photograph. That certification has been done by the commercial bank when they are verifying your documentation. But you are not supposed to fix the passport to that document or sign the acceptance of terms and conditions on the mandate form. That should be done in the presence of an officer at CBK. They must confirm that you are the person who has done it. So you'll, on top of the ID and your passport, you will also be required to supply a copy of your PIN certificate. Then a copy of your certificate of tax exemption if you have one. Remember, there are several reasons why one may get exempted from paying taxes. You are supposed to attach a copy of your tax exemption certificate if you have one. Then once all those documents and the completed mandate form, the original one, have been delivered back to CBK, you will have to wait for creation of your account, and a notification will be sent to you via the email that you have supplied or the mobile number that you have given. Important to note, because we said in my previous video, we understood that the bond market is divided into 2. There is the primary market and there is a secondary market. The primary market it defines the purchase of your bond from the government via CBK. But once these bonds have been purchased, once the bidding process has been completed and all the bonds executed, then all those bonds are transferred from CBK to the secondary market, which is the Nairobi Stock Exchange, for facilitation of trading. While in the primary market, we are able to purchase the bonds from the government so long as we are able to meet the minimum threshold. In the secondary market, you will require a stockbroker. You will require an intermediary to link you to the market. Therefore, in filling the mandate form, you will be required to elect or identify your preferred intermediary or broker who shall be dealing with your bonds in the secondary market. That is a key element that we are supposed to note. With that procedure, you will have attained preparation, because once your account has successfully been created by central bank, whenever the government is floating a new bond, you will be notified in order to be able to take up the advantage of bidding when other persons or people are bidding. The reason for this preparation is that the turnaround time for bidding for bonds sometimes is so short that you may not successfully get a CDS account if you were to create one or apply for one when the bidding begins. Because out of experience, most CDS accounts get created and notified in a window of 14 days. Some will talk of a month or so. But the bidding period in many cases is in 7 days or 14 days. So that is effective to mean that applying for a CDS account once the bidding has begun, chances are there is a high probability that you will not be able to successfully get a CDS account and bid for the bond. That is not to say that there are no alternative ways of investing in bonds when you don't have a CDS account. You can have a nominee account by investing in the same market through an intermediary. But what do you stand to lose if you are going through an intermediary? Central bank does not levy charges when you are purchasing their bonds from the primary market. Number two, you are likely to lose on the tax savings because the bond market is free, especially when you are purchasing an infrastructure bond which has a permanent character, that it's exempted. The incomes that you will get from that investment are exempted from taxes. You are likely to lose that advantage. On top of that, there are the management fees that will be charged by the intermediary. And that is one of the main reason is of venturing into the primary market is to save on the management fees by the intermediary and take advantage of the tax exemptions on those incomes on top of having that direct relationship. Be prepared. Don't be part of those who don't get prepared on time.